If those beginning notes of Michael Jackson's Billie Jean make you want to get in that groove, and if you can't help but sing at the top of your voice to Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer when that chorus kicks in, or you get really choked when Gilbert O'Sullivan sings I Remember I Cried When My Father Died in Alone Again Naturally, well, you understand that music's all about feeling. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. For me, music started off as a baby, to be honest. My dad had an amusement arcade down the coast, and inside the arcade he used to play music on reel-to-reel tapes. As you can see, I've got quite a few of them, and that's where my first love of music came from. It would play in the arcade all day. They were tapes which are here, and I've still got them, from the late 50s and the early 1960s. And it's from there that I've developed this love of music which has lasted me a lifetime. So why is it that we love this music? Well, I can talk to you scientifically about the limbic system and how dopamine hits us and makes us all emotional about it. But I don't want to do that because I'm not a scientist and I'd come unstuck. So what we're going to talk about is how and why we love this music so much. There are three things really that I think affect so many of us. First of which is connections. Because when you love music and you love certain types of music, you're going to find people who like it just the same as you. For me, as a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, going to the record shop was an event. I used to meet all my friends there and we'd go flicking through all the records and finding music that we loved. The man who owned the record shop would play all these songs for us and it would be like a big event. We would go out and just listen to that. We'd buy records and we'd love the newest things that come out. As you do. For me, I was a singles buyer. I had loads and loads of them because I loved music when I was young. I had so many people coming from a fairground who played lots of records. My sister's friends would give me their records when they were worn out. And because my parents had friends who owned rides on the fairground, they'd give me the records that they weren't playing anymore when they bought new ones. So by the time I was 10, I probably had 1,000 records. And that love of music, I would go round the fairground and they'd be playing it on the rides and I'd get all excited. And it would be connections with my mates because all my friends would be there playing it, listening to them too. And we'd go up on the ride and the man in the pay box of the ride would sometimes let me in there and let me pull the records up. Music was a connection thing. All my friends liked the different things and we'd buy records and we'd say, I've bought this and I've bought that. Connection is such a big important part for us. When you go to a concert and you're all as one. I can remember going to see James Taylor back in the day, and during the concert he sings this song, Shower the People, and he's got a backing singer by the name of Arnold McCullough, and his solo bit in that song, it takes you away. And I looked around the arena, and I've done it a few times, and everybody is connected in that spirit of that song at that precise moment. And that's one of the major reasons why we all love it so much. And then of course there's emotions. Emotions are tied up so much in our love of music. I can remember buying the Star Is Born soundtrack album with Barbara Streisand and Chris Christopherson and giving it to my girlfriend of the time, my very first love. And it was our album. And 3 weeks later she dumped me because I couldn't drive and found a boyfriend that could. But those emotions are also raw. I can remember so many things, and so can you, I'm sure. Records and tapes and music and concerts, all those things together bring out the emotion in us. A song can break your heart. It can lift you to the stars. And there are so many of these records that play such an important part in our lives because of the emotions that come along with it. Those emotions come back to us so often. I can remember when my eldest son was born. And I did some video recording of him when he first came home from the hospital. And I can remember putting music to it. It was John Lennon's Beautiful Boy. And when I hear that song even now, 30 odd years later, it plays such an important part in my life. Those memories of those emotions that come to the fore when my son was born. There are emotions of different songs. Each song, it doesn't have to be one that we love. They give us these feelings that we don't expect. At my parents' funerals, my big sister picked We'll Meet Again by Vera Lynn to be played. Every time I hear it, I could cry. That's the power of a song, and it's why we love them so much. There are so many good songs that over the years will have come into your life. They will bring back moments, and that's the third thing that's really important, the memories that music brings back to us as well. If you look back over your life, certainly in my case, the memories that music bring back to me are just unbelievable. If it wasn't for music, I don't think I'd have those memories at all. Over the years, all those records that we've collected bring back so many memories. And those memories are what takes us back and allows us to see how we've grown through our lives. I'm sure most of us remember buying our very first 7-inch single. For me, I was 3 when I got my first one. My first one was the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand. I was 3 years old, and a man named Alf Silver, who used to sell lights to my dad, took me to the record shop to buy it. The first one I remember buying myself was Eddie Floyd's Knock on Wood at the back end of 1966, the year that I bought my very first album, which was the Beatles album Revolver. I bought it with the birthday money that I'd saved for my birthday 5 days before it was released. Records play so much part in our memories, and those songs, a song can just take us back just like that. What about you? What's your song? Name one song? Comment down below. Let me know one song that you've got that brings back a really important part of your life and makes you smile when you hear it, makes you cry. There are so many things that music does for us. Music roots us, it takes us back, it holds us to our most dear times. When I look back over all those years and all those songs, from those rock and roll hits that I heard as a young child, through to the sounds of Motown that my brother had bought, those innocent love songs from way back when, with Bobby V singing of a broken heart, all of those songs made such an imprint on my life. As I got older and got my own taste, so I had Stevie Wonder and Elton John and ELO and all of those different groups. I can remember hating the music that my mum and dad liked, the Frank Sinatras, the Billy Eckstine, Sarah Vaughan, the brass bands, all that sort of stuff. And yet now they provide me with a connection to my parents that I didn't have then. They take me back in time, a time when I can listen to those songs and remember growing up, of family parties when they'd all be singing a little sing-along song, of great days from the past that I would have forgotten if it weren't for songs like Clarence Frogman Henry's But I Do, which reminds me of weddings that I went to that my mum would be there, my dad would be there, but as soon as But I Do came on, they'd be on the dance floor. So many memories, so many emotions wrapped up with the love of the music from years gone by. And the thing is, music is something for each and every one of us. I don't know about you, but there are some sorts of music that I don't like. I'm going to like things that you don't like. But that's great. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong or you're wrong. We're both right. We like our own kind of music, the things that we like. In fact, there's so many genres out there. I like to push them to one side and plough through the middle with the 2 and only 2 genres that I think are worthy of having. And they are the music that I like and the music that I don't. Music brings us so much joy in our lives. I smile when I think back of things that happened in bygone days. I can think of people when I hear a song, it brings a person straight to mind. A record can come on the radio and take me back to 1976 on that long hot summer. And it can for you too. When you've got that radio on, or you're playing a CD or Spotify or whatever way you listen to your music in this day and age. The memories come flooding back with music. It will take you to your best times. It will take you to your heartbroken times. And have you noticed how sad songs, even though they're sad, make you feel good? It's one of those things that music can do for you. I love my music. I spend a lot of time playing it when I'm not doing these videos. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's not often I go back to the music, but it's got that thing about it that when you're feeling a bit rough and things aren't going quite so well, you can put on one of your favourite records. It could be a disco classic from the 70s and you can boogie all around the house. Or it can be listening to Queen singing "We Are the Champions" and you can lift yourself right up. It does something that nothing out there can do for us. So the next time you're feeling bad, bung some music on and cheer yourself up. I'll see you in the next video.